and listeners, my name is Hyder Chohan and I'm here with Mr. Fazeel Hyder Chohan. This is the first episode of podcasts at Indus College of Law, podcasts at ICL. And this podcast will be entirely about Jessup and mooting. So I don't think Mr. Fazeel Hyder Chohan really needs any introduction, but he's currently a practicing High Court advocate. He's the National Administrator for ILSA, and he has competed in many moot court competitions when he was a student here at ICL. Do you want to add anything to this, Mr. Chohan, or should we start with the questions? I have some very tough questions prepared for you, just giving you a heads up.
Thank you, Hyder Chohan, for inviting me and our Jessup Pakistan.
It's an honor.
And I believe you have said much more than I was expecting. So, it's eager for it.
Wonderful, sir. So, my first and very basic question to you is, what is Jessup? What is this entire hype about? What are we looking forward to?
Yes, primarily if we see Jessup as a moot court competition, there are certain aspects that needs to be on the table, that it is the world's oldest moot court competition. So if we are talking about the extracurricular activity and their evolution in legal studies, so Jessup is the front runner and the oldest moot court competition. It started around 1958. So you can assume how much of an history has went into it. And other than that, it is the first moot court entity or enterprise that introduced the moot court on public international law. So if today we talk about public international law is in the mainstream of Pakistan, I believe it is Philip C. Jessup's moot court competition that has brought this entity, we call it public international law, to Pakistani students. And of course, while doing it has created a lot more opportunities for students, for Pakistani students to, get more employment, not necessarily employment in the strict sense, but of course having a sense of it that they do not have the only one go-to place after completing their law education, that is to go to courts, but having studied or participated in moot court competition like Philip C. Jessup, they get an understanding or realization that there are a lot more places that they can apply to. So in that regard, I believe this is a moot court competition that is very close to my heart. That started in Pakistan in late 2016. That was the first edition.
Right.
Organized by a US embassy. They sponsored it and they've been sponsoring it from 2016 to I believe to 2021. And then I took over this opportunity and I feel very honored, very satisfied that I am in the shoes and I am exercising this responsibility as Executive Trust.
Right.
So that is actually
well, that's wonderful, Mr. Chohan. So I just had one question as you were speaking. So the US Embassy conducted the very first Jessup round. They sponsored it. Who sponsored it after the US Embassy?
Yes, it is very interesting to note that it was a real struggle in the first place, since when I was appointed, I was with NUS, National University in Sciences and Technology. So it was a real struggle to have some funds for it. But then the participating institutes, and I take this opportunity to thank law colleges of Pakistan who has invested and provided opportunities to law students by sponsoring their team, by sponsoring their travel to Islamabad. And then of course it is International Students Law Association, ILSA, who was being the main sponsor of the Pakistan National Round, and we all should be very thankful to them. Michael Pell, the executive director, he was very graciously contributed to the overall expenses. And of course, if we talk about the investments or the sponsorship, it is not only the monetary sponsorships. There are a lot more individuals who have contributed to this Pakistan Jessup. If I can name my previous boss, Dr. Asad Khan, our colleagues at NUS, our colleagues around Pakistan has contributed significantly to the Jessup Pakistan entity that we see here today.
Wonderful, wonderful. ILSA is really an organization that we all look up to and we all should look up to.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to ask one question. If there's someone like me who has never competed in a moot court competition, who has no clue about what a moot court competition even is, in very basic terms, how would you explain what a moot court competition is to someone like me?
I think you're acting very naive. I mean, when you say you have not participated in moot court, but for our audience, I would try to give it something. See, moot court competition, we always say it is a simulation. It is a courtroom simulation for law students to understand how a real life courtroom works. So it is the first hand information or first hand experience that a law student gets, that how lawyers actually do in their professional lives. I mean, it is the moot court which exposes students to all three facets of the practice of law. That is, moot courts require that you do your research, a legal research, which is quite different than a research in general. So your teachers do that. How you can go and do your legal research, then it kind of challenges you to write or produce that legal research in a way that is more appealing or persuasive for the person who is reading it, that is the judicial officer. So again, and thirdly, it was something very challenging. I mean, somebody like me who has never been to the podium, who was very, very shy and quite afraid of going to the public and speaking. So it gives you, mooting gives you an opportunity to challenge yourself and polish your speaking skills. So in nutshell, if we conclude it, moot court is a simulation which helps law students to practice what they are getting theoretically in their law schools, and then it gives kind of an overview for a young law student to realize what he or she should expect while he has graduated from law school.
Wonderful. That was a great answer. I don't think anyone else can such beautifully explain what a mooting competition is.
I mean, if you can allow, I just want to add one.
Please,
There is a misconception in mooting fraternity or in legal fraternity, or in people who have graduated with me or after me, that if you do mooting, there is 100% chances of success. I don't believe in such a way. It is only a opportunity that can get you understand how the real life would look like. I mean, I'm not saying that you should not do mooting or you should not participate in mooting, but it should be done with a perspective. I mean, it is more of a mentality that law student needs to realize that it is not a 100% success rate if you do mooting in your law practice, but definitely it is something which gives you an edge while you start.
Great. Right, Mr. John, while you were a student here at ICL, I know you competed in many national and international moot court competitions. If I'm not wrong, we competed in Jessup by your time.
I mean, it is very funny,
Right.
and I've shared it with many of my colleagues that although I have participated in all top international moots, that includes Nuremberg moot court competition, it was Hague ICC moot court competition, of course, Jump Take. But there is one competition that I have participated in, and that is Jessup.
Oh, we're gonna get rid of this.
No, because it is a fact.
It is.
I mean, it is a fact, but yes, I mean, if I remember, so actually, I was selected twice by ICL administration when I was student to participate in Philip C. Jessup, but there were very unfortunate events that came along the way, so I had to drop out. I had not participated in Jessup. That was a regret initially, but now thankfully I am doing Jessup in a different role.
Yeah, you're the national administrator. I mean, so Mr. John, nonetheless you have still competed in many national and international moot court competitions, right? So what are the key differences between them? What are we looking at when we speak of national moot court competitions within Pakistan and international moot court competitions?
It is primarily the mentality of the organizers that changes or that classifies or categorizes certain moot courts as the moot courts where the students should go, And when I say mentality, I mean that when you, travel to some other country to participate in an internationally competed environment, the first thing for a Pakistani student that comes into the way that they outside Pakistan do not mark you entirely on your language skills. While in Pakistan, it is unfortunate, and I believe things have been changing of late. But when you travel outside Pakistan, you realize that you are not entirely marked with your language skills, and in Pakistan, you are being heavily, improvised, or you've been asked to, speak in a certain way. So this is one difference that I observed while I traveled as a participant. And of course, going out of Pakistan and competing in some renowned competitions, it is the environment that challenges you and that gets the best out of it. So it is the differences. But of late, I would again say that Pakistani competitions have evolved, Pakistani institutions have evolved. If I talk about my days, there were only 2 to 3 competitions, but if we talk today, the moot court is real mainstream now. And institutions are evolving, moot courts is evolving, participating mentalities and preparations, the methodology of preparation is evolving. So, yes, we are on a right track, making out for the quality of moot court competition. Of course, a long way to go, right? But yes, we are on the right track, and hopefully we'll see someday that Pakistan organizes some international competitions.
Wonderful. I hope to see that day come very soon. Now, Mr. Chauhan, as you stated before, that before competing in moot court competitions, you were a bit shy, and moot courts
Very shy.
very shy.
And by the fact, I have never been to the podium whole my life. Before I been to the podium in moot court competition.
This is very
And again, I take this opportunity to acknowledge my teachers. And the first one that comes to my mind is, of course, my mentor, Mr. Zaman Hussain Talpu. I remember I actually excused him when I was selected first for ICL team to represent ICL team. I excused him that, sir, since I'm not a brisk speaker, I would like to participate as a researcher. And for your knowledge, researcher is the one who do not speak. So I was trying to take a shelter, right, of not going to the dice. But again, he acknowledged me and pushed me to the level that I participated, and thankfully now I see that push made a huge change.
So, for the listeners who don't know, Mr. Zamin Santalpur is the principal here at ICL. So, Mr. Chauhan, a follow-up question to that. For current students who are still confused, who are still shy to go up in front of the podium and speak, what advice would you give to them?
I would advise. See, unless you won't challenge yourself, you won't realize what is in you. It is the challenging environment for going to a podium and trying to pursue somebody who is not ready to, come in terms with you. It is a challenge, by the way. So I would advise all law students to at least participate as a speaker for once in your law study. It would not only give you a personal satisfaction that you can go on the podium and speak and argue, but it would also help you realize the practical understanding of law that matters above all. Theoretical study would obviously can't take you anywhere. It is the practical understanding of the whole composition of law would help you go apart. So again, the advice is do not hesitate. I realize when I say do not hesitate, it sounds very romantic, but it is not actually that romantic. But just give it a go. Give it a go.
That's some great piece of advice. You sometimes just have to jump in the darkness just to see what's at the other side, right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Chauhan, what are some of the key skills? What are some of the key attributes that one can develop through this practice of mooting?
If I talk about myself, and I've seen other of my colleagues develop the same, after you do mooting, after you being to this competitive environment, you tend to realize and you tend to understand that I mean, what is your shortcomings as a law student? So that is one skill that you realize your shortcoming. That is the skill you gain. And then it is this, of course, your public speaking qualities that kind of take a burst out of it. Your writing skills kind of adopt to the situation. So yes, these are the few skills. I mean, I won't say these are few skills, but it is the important or crucial skill that a law student or a lawyer should have. So yes, it is the speaking that you kind of grow into.
Right.
You tend to learn the art of drafting and research, and of course you tend to develop a whole lot more confidence in it.
Yes. Wonderful, sir. So those were like the soft skills that you developed while practicing the art of mooting. What about, are there any career benefits that that a mooter may expect if he dedicates his time and efforts to the practice and art of mooting?
See, I wouldn't talk about the elite law schools anywhere in the world. I assume there would be law schools, and there are law schools who have some really good opportunities other than moot courts. But in a region like Pakistan, I'm talking about the mainstream Pakistan, not again the elite side of Pakistan. I mean, if I see again and try to realize, I mean, what are the opportunities or what are the things which I can get into my CV other than moot courts. It was only moot court experiences that I had into my CV all the way while I graduated. I mean, I did not have any other kind of a skill to acquire while I was a student. So yes, moot court gives you a cherry for your CV, your resume while you are applying for some opportunities. And then there is another thing, while you go to moot courts, national or international, there is another wealth that you kind together, and that is your network. I mean, you tend to develop more networks, more friends. You tend to connect with more people. So yes, it is the networking that you get. It is the realization that how professionalism is required or expected out of you, that you learn from moot courts. And then again, I had nothing more to add than I had only moot courts in my CV while I applied anywhere.
And I mean, you're doing a wonderful job after graduating. So
Yes.
That's a real life example of how mooting can really be beneficial for your CV. Now, Mr. Johan, I think we should end this interview. So my last and final question for you would be, what advice would you give to individuals? And so first, individuals who are competing for a spot for their colleges to compete in the Jessup 2025. And now, what advice would you give to the teams who will be coming to Hyderabad at ICL for the Jessup 2025?
I mean, yes, first, the advice is that please keep on following me, if I can say. And then they should be following ILSA websites for more developments. I mean, they will be announcing moot problem, the annual moot problem for Jessup 25.
Sorry to cut you off, Lisa. I was just looking at Ilsa's website very recently, and they've done a wonderful job. They've done a wonderful job. So I would also agree with that. For any of the current booters, you must go and check out Ilsa's website for not just information about the current gender, but also on some of the articles that they
articles, and there are other student opportunities. Yes, presented over there. I mean, there is always a student advisor for ILSA. They select for every year. Wonderful. So there is an opportunity for law students of Pakistan game, and there was prior to this the only law student that was selected for executive directors or student directors position from Pakistan was from ICL in 2019 or 2020, I suppose, the business partner.
Yes.
She a Jessup winner as well. So again, coming back to the advices, that please keep on following IFSA's website, keep on following our pages. Since we have some announcements to make, and the major announcements, and so I would be and we would be reaching out to teams if they want personalized Jessup training on rules on moot courts. So we would be happy to connect with you people. if you need any understanding, any information on moot court, specifically on Jessup participation, so we would be happy to come over to your institute or invite you online for your assistance. And then we would be starting our judges registrations. We would be starting volunteer registrations. We would be having, at least I am planning to have a course designed for public information law. Of course, that would help students coming for.
Certainly.
So for the desert, I mean, the whole idea is that the team who wins Pakistan round actually deserves it, and the team who represent Pakistan after winning this moot court competition actually makes us proud at international level as well. To achieve it, we are going to have some announcements and some courses.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Fazeel Hyder Chohan, for joining us today.
Thank you.
This was the first episode of podcast at ICL. We have many more podcasts to come, and Sir Fazeel was our first and very special guest here. Thank you, Mr. Fazeel. Hope to see you very soon.